G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a H&K G3. This is a highly customizable standalone rifle type weapon capable of being modified to very close quarters or long range depending on what attachments you put on it, so very nice, modular, and also versatile. And it also has custom sounds and animations which we'll get to in a second when we get into gameplay. But looking at this thing, as you can tell, the textures and the models here are just really good. Like, this is beyond what Bethesda have done, and this weapon is balanced around the vanilla assault rifle, so we should see about the same sort of performance. Depending on what we do, we might actually get better, but we're already doing 208 damage with the 5.56s installed, and we can increase that even more with the 308s, which is a little bit crazy. Now, I like the G3. The original experience I had with this weapon is from Battlefield 3. It was the G3A3. It was one of those, I believe it was the co-op campaign weapons that you could unlock, but it made the sound like an M60. It fired the heavier 7.62 round, and I guess it over-exaggerated its power with the M60 sounds, but it was very memorable. I did quite like that weapon. Unfortunately, the Scar H took its place in Battlefield 4, so I don't think I saw the G3 in Battlefield 4 at all. But yeah, with the 308s, we're doing 247, and you can chamber that down to 5 mils if you want. That obviously they're a lot more easy to obtain, so if you are using this during the early game, well, you can feed it lots of those. You'll get reduced damage, but it's decent. There's no condition to worry about, so you can just keep on firing this for days. Moving over to the barrels, so this is your shorter barrel. This will increase your rate of fire, so if you are looking for a close quarters approach to this particular weapon, then that's the way to go. That with the 5mm rounds would make it more like a submachine gun, I suppose, but you can also have a longer sniper barrel which will reduce the fire rate, but if you want to keep it in the middle, we'll go for that medium with the with that actual G3 sort of barrel type design. And you can chuck a compensator or a suppressor on. Suppressors are great in Fallout 4, there's no reason not to chuck them on. And you can change the grip from marksman to standard. It'll increase your accuracy and reduce AP costs if you chuck that on. But if you want to retain that look of the G3, then you can leave it as standard there, but it's not like you could probably see that in third or first person anyway. But going for performance, we'll leave the marksman stock on, or the marksman grip, and you can chuck a rail on, and the rail allows you to chuck on some scopes, including aim point and vortex. So we'll chuck on this one. We'll have the iron sights for the close quarters version, but for the sake of showing off you can get reflex sights here. It's not particularly super customizable in the sights, but it's got where it needs. You just got a scope and a reflex sight and iron sights if you want to. There's nothing really much more you could do with that, to be honest. And you can change the stock. Marksman stock obviously makes it look a little bit more like a sniper. Retracted stock and an extended version of that for a close quarters version of it, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna keep this one because I like the look of the G3 as is. We'll see these things all in action, and but showing you what you can do, I'll let you know with that. And you might as well go 1.5 times on the zooming in with this. It's not too bad, but having a little bit of extra zoom makes it slightly more accurate at range, I suppose. And you gotta remember, Fallout 76 zooms in a lot more with the reflex sight, so it might actually mess up my muscle memory a little bit. But yeah, you can have a classic or a black skin if you feel like it, so let's go classic. It's got a nice wooden grip there, makes it look very good. And you can change it from semi-auto to automatic. Obviously having it automatic will incur a damage penalty to keep it from being overpowered. I know a lot of this doesn't actually make sense. 428 fire rate? Alright, well, that's interesting. That's probably a bug, probably on Bethesda's end. Don't shoot the modder. And here, if the damage isn't doing it for you, you can just chuck on these things to boost that even further. And a legendary effect is there if you need it. Anyways, I'm done here. I'm going to make a couple more and we'll shoot stuff. Okay, so here we are, and let's see if Nuclear Winter has improved my aim Plaza. And this is the G3 in first person when aiming down sights. A little bit of a nitpick from me, but I'm having trouble seeing the reticule as perfectly as there when I point it at something that's bright. That might just be my colorblind ass doing stuff, but yeah, I'd like to see the option of having green reticules because that never happens with vanilla weapons, but that's what it looks like in third person. Very good. You'll notice very little clipping or very little hover handing. And also, here's Vikkie. She's the Disciples operator, and I've also got an idle pose mod which makes you stand there with a rifle look like that. Looks like she owns the place. The fight's not over yet, Vikkie. I wouldn't get too comfortable. But anyways, let's get started, shall we? We've got a suppressor with 308, so we'll go ahead and do some good old Fallout 4 stealth commandoing. This is a template to my stuff in Fallout 76. All I needed was sneak criticals to work in caution, which they do, and it was golden from there. But as you can tell, this thing is doing a decent amount of damage. I still haven't chucked out that idiot Savant Replacer. I need to, because it doesn't really do much. But I see him trying to dodge around like that. I'll have you know, and this is the sniper one, by the way, that my targeting tracking powers have doubled since the last time we've met gunners. I think Nuclear Winter has improved my aim significantly because, well, I was always very lazy with my aim in Fallout because the AI were dumb and you could just exploit the AI to not get shot. But in Nuclear Winter, fighting actual people who actually want to hurt you, well, I need to improve my game a little bit. Alright, so this one is the close quarters variant, 5mm in the magazine. Also, there's the reload in third person, so everything about this mod is just super high quality. So yeah, it's definitely a good one to get back into, but obviously without the suppressor, without all of those elite sexy gains of the multipliers, ooh, yeah, I'm wise to that trick, gunner, at this point. But yeah, without all of those really powerful perks you could use with a suppressor, it's kind of lacking. But just to give you an idea of what this thing is like and what it sounds like without the suppressor, well, that's what it sounds like. Forget how cinematic VATS was. I'm used to it being lightning fast as it is back in back in Fallout 76. And I saw the massive 50 BMG cartridge fly out of Bridget's pistol when she fired it, which I find highly amusing. I like the enemies in Fallout 4. They seem to be a lot more autonomous than the Fallout 76 monsters. For some reason, they'll actually dodge you. I think the ghouls, to an extent, still do this in Fallout 76, but yeah, you'll never have the Scorched do all these dodging moves on you like that. You know, just add a little bit of depth to combat, and you know, you don't really think about these things too much unless you play a lot of Fallout 76 for a very long time. Also, a convenient ragdoll on that gunner commander, and then you come back and play Fallout 4, which is, to be honest, the superior game. But you know, not a lot of people think Fallout 4 is all that interesting, according to how many people will view this video. But as you can tell, the sniper perk still works for this thing, so it's going to be extremely potent against monsters where we can just completely stall them constantly. The sniper knockdown mixed with this rate of fire is extremely deadly, and it's kind of like using the advanced receiver on the assault rifles in the vanilla game. It's an incredibly devastating combination. Unfortunately, throwing her down behind the chairs there made us stop shooting at her, but we were able to take out the other target while she was getting back up. So, you know, being able to defuse a threat like that is incredibly valuable. And now we're getting the excellent multipliers that we get as usual, so yeah, very, very good weapon all around. It doesn't seem too overpowered. Obviously, I'm spec'd into this more than most players would ever be, but in terms of performance, I've got no complaints. The mod is of high quality. Let's kill some monsters. So, Swan's over there just making a fuss with some other random NPCs and... whoops, I forgot about vanilla jumping. Yeah, not having marsupial, it's a little bit of a crutch, but you know, it's not too bad when we're fighting in Gunner's Plaza. But this is what I was talking about in terms of the sniper knockdowns. As soon as we get him knocked down, he's going to get a ragdoll, he's going to take a while to get back up, and all the while we'll be smiling as we go ahead and just sneak attack crit him until he is dead. We're almost hitting him for 1,000 per go, which is absolutely insane. And shoot him in the balls for extra laughs, I guess. Does anyone find that funny? Probably not. I think we're past that at this point. He's dead, so the pain was not really all that around. He's fine now. He's in a better place. Right now he's gone to Swan Heaven, where they have dummies of winter that they continually whack with their giant anchors all day. So F for Swan. Okay, from one monster to another. This time we'll be attacking it with the Commander approach, which, as you can tell, DPS is a lot higher, but without the knockdowns, might struggle a little bit if it manages to see me. And that is an if. So we're pretty sneaky. It is raining right now, so we shouldn't have too much trouble, provided we can stay in caution. Almost. And if we can just keep on hitting in the head, that would be grand. My AP's probably back already, so we might as well just take out the thing. He'll just spam criticals here, and if we're lucky, Vats will be like, nah mate, you can't hit that, but we'll get crits going anyway to, you know, boost the damage. It's not an entirely perfect view, and it just reminds me of how good Fallout 76's VATS is for, you know, the type of game that it is. They did an incredibly good job with the VATS. It's so quick. That's the best thing about Fallout 76 VATS. It's just so quick to dish out damage. They've integrated it really well. People think it's really bad. Mostly the normies that use it against the fucking commie bots outside the vault to figure out that it's got fuck all accuracy and then not ever use it ever. But, you know, people actually use it in the game. It's one of the best tools, and the same thing applies to Fallout 4. I don't think a lot of people ever bother using... Why am I picking this shit up? But this is not going to stand anyway. But I don't think a lot of people actually explore VATS to its fullest, because it's one of the best tools for getting a lot of damage. And if, you know, you're not really keen on aiming with the weapon at all, you just use VATS. It's too easy. So I'm going to go inside now. I'll probably change the little close quarters variant of this to explosive, and we'll shoot some super mutants, I guess. Okay, so now I've got an explosive variant of this. We've also extended the stock out. It's not really that noticeable in first person, but it's there. I don't think it'll affect recoil all that much. Not that like there was much to begin with anyway, but... What's that, he says, after being shot with the many explosives. He's like, "Hey mate, what's that then?" Weird. Yeah, sometimes the AI in these games are just a bit weird. The explosion, the actual effect of it, I feel like is a lot nicer than the over-the-top explosion one in Fallout 76. That's just a personal preference of mine, but yeah, you can cripple things a lot easier with this if you've got all of the ranks of that DC Journal of Internal Medicine, I think it is. It's some sort of medicine thing where you get the extra limb damage. It stacks like 2% per like 10 things. What's that? Fucking 2 times 10, 20% more limb damage. That with explosives, because it's just throwing that extra explosive damage out everywhere. Just limb shredded, so, you know. But just to show you this thing can be decent without using stealth, and I kind of needed to chuck explosive on it for not only a little bit of a spicier touch to this weapon, but just to give it a little bit more against these super mutants, because honestly, I'm barely scraping by with full mag dumps as it is. I generally wouldn't like to see this thing take any much more than that to kill those guys, because, well, it's just boring. It'll slow me down. But like I showed off before in the customization, the ability just to, you know, tweak your damage on the fly is good. So if you want to use this thing, you go very hard difficulty. Maybe you like getting the extra legendary chance out of very hard. Well, maybe if you want to you know, boost this thing to make it seem like it's doing normal damage, you boost it by 100%, so it kind of balances out. That's something you might be able to do. That is garbage. Actually, it's not too bad. The ones that boost your stats are kind of lame compared to other things. Like unyielding is definitely the best when it comes to boosting your stats, but, you know, it's not terrible. And we've got 2 doggers out here if memory serves. Maybe not today, but anyways, I think you get the point. That there was a G3. Oh, this one's different, I think. This is a HK51. That's a PSG. I thought that was a Russian scope, but yeah, it changes names depending on what you've got set up, which is very good attention to detail. It's a very well put together mod, and it syncs these, I guess they're different weapons. It syncs them all together very nicely in a neat little package too. You can change them on the fly if you've got the skills and the resources to do it. So I would highly recommend anyone download this mod. If you're interested in seeing this character in your game, I'll find the links to the Nuka World Companion mod in the description. You find her there. She comes with Carla and Kira too. They're pretty cool too. Thank you very much for watching, guys.